Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time, I thought I would reach into my TBR, that's to be read, box, and grab a handful. So here is a handful of comics from my to be read box, and share them with you, and just looking through them. I think there are a couple of them, at least a couple of them, that I plan on. I'm thinking of doing deeper dives into whole episodes on a specific book here in the near future, because they look like so much fun. So, and what we're going to start with is this book here. Okay, this is just from 2017. True Believers. Phoenix presents Cyclops and Marvel Girl. But then get inside, and it's to represent the original cover as it was originally done. So the whole thing is basically a facsimile of that book. It's from which was X-Men 48 from 1968. Art by Don Heck and Werner Roth, and written by Arnold Drake. This is and I'm currently reading this, and I am enjoying it. I'll finish it a little later. Some nice artwork, and I like this interpretation of Marvel Girl. And I actually like the X-Men from this time period, even though I seldom read them at that time. But I do like it from this era. So that's a fun one. Then we go here to 1970. I think it was. I looked at it. Is that what it said? 70? I think so. 1969. Jungle Jim from Charlton Comics. Jungle Jim number 25. Very worn, but still perfectly readable. The Hunter and the Hunted. Of course, Jungle Jim from the Alex Raymond comic strip, but this is all new material. I think it's the strip is owned by King Features, and of course, Jungle Jim was to be in direct opposition to the Tarzan strip, just as Alex Raymond created the Flash Gordon strip in direct competition to the popular Buck Rogers, and they're both very popular. And of course, this is, I think, is probably written by Joe Gill or someone like that, and with art by Pat Boyette, and some really nice stuff. He always had some interesting page layouts and stuff. And his art was never as dynamic. And when I was a kid, I didn't care for his art very much. But the older I got, the more I appreciated his skill, his professionalism, and his draftsmanship. While his stuff is, generally speaking, not as dynamic, it is very good storytelling, and he is an excellent draftsman, and I like his work. Then, this is from 1970. Spoof number 1 from Marvel Comics. Spoof. And I liked it. These humor magazines, comics, never lasted very long, but I always enjoyed them. The lunatic side of life. And it was spoofing, following on Mad Magazine with their spoofs of movies and TV shows. And that's what this is. We're spoofing Dark Shadows and the movie Marooned, which you may not, depending on your age, you may not even be familiar with, was an Academy Award-winning movie at that time, starring Gregory Peck, and the hit TV series The Mod Squad. The what? Yes, The Mod Squad. Three kids as undercover cops. And that's a lot of fun. Mostly done by Marie Severin and Roy Thomas, but not exclusively. Then we go here to, this is what year did I see? This was 2010? I think it was 2010. No, 2008. Joe Kubert's Tor #1. This is part 1 of a 6-issue miniseries. Unfortunately, I don't have the rest. I am a big Joe Kubert fan and a Tor fan. I read his Tor stuff that was reprinted when I was a kid, but his original version of Tor from the 50s, and that put him with dinosaurs. They had another mini-series about 10 years before this, and he was taken out of the age of dinosaurs, put in a more realistic time frame for Homo sapiens. And but his great artwork, Joe Kubert. So this would have been at the end of his life, shortly before he died. And some nice artwork, some nice storytelling. Even though it's more unrealistic, I really like the dinosaur stuff. Even though humans and dinosaurs are separated by 65 million years, that's still great to see them together in fiction. But I also appreciate that he took the effort to do more research and at least put him in a more realistic time frame. Then here we have Desperados #4 of 5 from Homage Comics, with some great artwork by John Severin. And this is 2001. You know, latter-day westerns you don't find, but you couldn't get anyone better than John Severin to draw your western or war stuff. It was just really great. And I think this is the only issue I've got, and I haven't read it, but I love westerns and I love John Severin. And here is Dynamite, Vampirella #1 from Dynamite. Now, what year did I say? I just looked at this. This is 2010. This is the one that was 2010. Great cover illustration, great interior art, but you don't see much in the way of Vampirella and her vampy outfit. But it appears to be more, well, some vampire-y, but it's superheroic vampire-y stuff, I think. Calvin Klein. That's a nod to that costume. The Last Phantom. No. And that looks good. I love Vampirella. I used to read Vampy once in a while when I was a kid, and I really prefer that era of Vampy. And here is Ben Dunn's Ninja High School #51 from 1996. I've done an in-depth on Ninja High School, and that was drawn by Ben Dunn. I met him briefly once last year, bought some of his books, and I did an in-depth on him and his book. This was it's one that from 95. Well, the artwork is from 95 anyway, but the book is from cover dated 96. Written by John Marshall with art by Mike Segarra. Of course, and Ninja High School is an American publication, but done in the manga style. But fortunately, it has a more American style storytelling, so that you don't need to read 50 volumes to get one short story. And here we go is Mars Attacks #6 from IDW. And it comes with a Mars Attacks card. I never got any of these. I had some Mars Attacks stuff from the 80s, long before the movie. And I like this stuff. I've never had any of this. This was originally distributed in this in the plastic like this with a cardboard card right in the center to make the whole thing stiff like a trading card. And it is a comic book. I don't know how much comic story is in it, but it is. I haven't opened it. I may not open it. I don't know. Just to keep it intact. But I like Mars Attacks. And here we go to issue 2 of Saber by Don McGregor and Paul Gulacy from 1982. And another time I showed the original Saber graphic novel, briefly, by McGregor and Gulacy. The most explosive hero in comics in the shattering climax of his first epic adventure. And of course, Gulacy. This is in full color when the graphic novel was in black and white. Some great Paul Gulacy art, and it's been so long since I've read it, but I'm sure it was. I really enjoyed the story as well. Wow, it gets very wordy, Don McGregor, and that's some great stuff. And then we're going to finish it up here from 1988. This is a square bound, heavier, because it's all printed on heavier stock paper. Racer X from it's Now Comics, right? Yeah, Now Comics, and they were doing Speed Racer, and Racer X is a character in Speed Racer, and he spun him off into his own title. I've never read much Speed Racer, or Racer X, more of Speed Racer. And I have some of the, if I still have it, 1 or 2 volumes of black and white reprint from the English reprint from the Japanese version. That's of Speed Racer, and I think this may well be the only Racer X that I've got, and some nice artwork, but this type, the coloring, this type actually looks like the coloring was all done with marker, and I can't even remember the names. Markers they had us use in art school, and it looks like it's all done in the marker. At this time, they were doing a lot of coloring. A lot of publishers were doing a lot of coloring in this fashion, and it is just horrendous. I'm sorry to say, it is. The rest of it is done really well. The coloring choices for the colorings, the palette is fine. It is the execution that I do not like, and the printing of that color. I'm sorry to say. So that is what I'm going to finish this with. Is Racer X. Exciting car-based issue or title, and I never cared much for race cars or anything else like that. So, but that's all I've got to share with you this time, and so I would really appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe, and do leave your comments down below. Which of these titles do you like best? Which ones would you like to see a deep dive in? I've already got a couple in mind. So I do want to thank you. And remember, comics are art.